Are you feeling already the holiday pressure creeping in, the never ending to do lists? The clutter you swore way back in September that you'd tackle? And that Thanksgiving menu? Well, let's be honest, it still isn't fully planned. Guess what? You're not alone, my friend, because I actually have been there. But this year I've decided to do something a little bit different. Because why not? I took the lessons that I've learned with my one word of the year, of this year, which is adventure, and I applied them to how I prepare my home and my life for actually this season's upcoming holidays. So by the end of today's episode, you'll know the three care areas that I actually focused on to organize my home so I can move into this season with somewhat relatively being calm instead of being so chaotic, and how I balance that with my work life, family life. Because let's be honest, that's what it's all about. It's that balancing act, right? And I'm not just telling you what I did. I'm actually going to be also giving you my Thanksgiving prep checklist because you know me, I love my checklist and I love marking things off. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Organizing with Ease. I'm your host, Deanna Mall. Now, if you've been following along with me, you know that every year I choose a word that sets the tone for that year. And for 2025, that word has been adventure. Adventure didn't just mean these big trips or epic bucket list items. For me, it actually meant a little bit more of like along the lines of those everyday shifts, like saying yes to a sunrise morning wake up call and walk. Yes, I did. When I would normally scroll and do my other morning things, but this I put into my non negotiable. Planning a spontaneous weekend outing with the family and actually even with the girls. Sometimes it's just taking myself out of the home environment for those 1 to 2 hours to actually take a break, read a book in a coffee shop, along with my laptop, of course, or take a walk in a different path in my neighborhood. All these little adventures really did add up. They reminded me that stepping outside of my routine, even in the smallest ways, gave me energy, perspective, and much needed balance. So when it came to think and time to think about preparing for the holidays, which we all know can be what so overwhelming, I've decided to approach it with a little bit more of some of that same adventurous, intentional mindset. Okay, so hear me out. Instead of waiting until the last minute and stressing myself out, which I have done in the past, but guess what? Nope. I got just a little bit more curious about which areas of my home have caused me some chaos and in the past in November and December. And so I decided to tackle those on first. So today I'm going to share exactly what I did. And I promise it's not about organizing your entire home from top to bottom. It's about three focus steps that will give you the biggest payoff for your time. Hey, friend, just a quick break before we continue. If you're already feeling that holiday rush coming on, no worries, I've got you covered. The Holiday Planner 2025 is your all in one printable to keep November and December stress free. What it includes your holiday countdown calendar, decoration checklist, gift list, budget tracker, meal planner, oh my gosh, even a grocery list, party games, and even space for some holiday notes all in one simple, beautiful layout. And this is the best part it's free and it's an easy download. The link is down below in the show notes. So grab your copy today. Now, let's get back to today's episode. So, when I mapped out my holiday prep, the first fresh step that I did take, which I actually leaned into, was to simplify, right? I knew that the fridge, the pantry, and the entryway were my biggest three. These are the zones that set the tone for the entire season. So the fridge becomes, I call it real estate, battlefield during Thanksgiving week, the entire month of November. And if it's already stuffed with last month's leftovers, well, you're never going to fit any type of turkey, any type of anything for Thanksgiving, right? You need to make room. The pantry is where that hidden clutter in plain sight is. So, how many of us have about like three open bags of chips, flour, or maybe 4 jars of that cinnamon that's hiding behind the pasta? Yes, I'm a little bit guilty of that one. Even because the fact that I actually don't use cinnamon as often, and so that's why it gets hidden into the pantry in an area that, I guess it's behind pasta. Guilty. Totally, totally guilty. And then, of course, the entryway. This is the first thing guests sees, right? So I do actually decorate accordingly with my pumpkins and make it like a soft entryway, like a nice feel. I do keep any of my received Amazon boxes off to the side, and I do actually open them up actually on the side where I place them. So I don't carry the boxes anywhere. I actually carry the contents from that area to where they need to belong. Because what we don't want is we don't want to have a cluttered entryway because that makes the whole house feel so chaotic. So here's what I did. I took everything out of my fridge. Oh, yes, I did. And I cleaned everything out. I did toss expired sauces, wiped shelves, grouped items by category, and I intentionally left open space for what I knew was coming ahead. Now, in the pantry, I did create a little holiday area. Okay. So, what I mean by that is because we like to bake. So, I had it to actually look through my sugar, my flour, my pumpkin, my canned pumpkins, chocolate chips, of course, and review all of my spices. No more 9 p.m. panics about maybe missing some nutmeg. Do you think I was there before? Yeah, I kind of did. And then the entryway, I pared it down to only like literally just the essentials. I do have a shoe mat. I don't have a shoe rack, but I do have a shoe mat by my door. And I place that around the corner so that when someone comes in, they can take off their shoes. And then also, I do keep my mail now in the front, but now it seems to be going to the kitchen counter. So that time that kind of like alternates itself, but at least I know that it doesn't go very far until it gets addressed. And then, of course, the rest is gone, right? So here is totally a story. So last year, my fridge was a disaster. Yes, it was. I will openly admit to that. And, it's Thanksgiving morning. I was literally playing with the food, shifting leftovers around while trying to slide my turkey. But luckily enough, I have a second fridge in the garage. So that was my saving grace. So stressful doesn't even begin to cover it because I told myself and I promised myself that this will never happen again. Have you said that before? So say it again. I promised myself this will never happen again because I'm going to make things happen. Clutter is not just the stuff on your floor, it's anything that stands between you and the life you want to be living by Peter Walsh. So, my challenge for you this week is small, but very, very mighty. You ready? A 15-minute fridge reset. Pull out one shelf, toss what's expired, and create some breathing room. Trust me, future you are going to be and will be very grateful. And you're probably thinking 15 minutes. So if you don't think you're going to make it in 15, give yourself then maybe a 20-minute. Set a timer, super easy, but I guarantee you it can get done within that time frame, especially if your mind is focused on it, right? So then we're going to organize our everyday flow because once the clutter is cleared, then you move on to the next step, which is to tweak it, just a little bit to tweak here and there, right? So here's the secret. Holiday organization isn't about perfection. It's about actually the flow. You don't need those, beautiful bins or those Pinterest labels everywhere. You need systems that help your daily life work better, especially during the holidays. So here's what I did. Pantry baskets. You ready? So I do have one for snacks. And then I also have a shelf I have for my baking. I have literally have one shelf just designated. Actually, I have even organizing bins for all of my sprinkles and everything else that we would need. And then I have also my flour in containers. I have my sugar and I have my other sugar. So, you have the brown sugar, you have the white sugar, you have the other sugar. And then, of course, you have the flour. So in my case, my children love for me to have extra chocolate chips. So I have to make sure for the holidays I buy even more extra chocolate chips because in our household, there can never be too many chocolate chips. We definitely do like to bake more so during the holiday time. So now let's move on to the linens for the guest room. So I actually do like to prep my guest room for when the guests arrive. Not, of course, the day when the guests do arrive, but sometimes I have to just like make sure I have everything tidied up. I do wash the towels. They have their own set. I actually do bedding because there's nothing like pulling out an old set of sheets that smells kind of like it's been sitting around. So I do freshen that all up, of course, and then fluff up the pillows. And as you all know, my little staple is having fresh flowers in the guest room when they arrive. For the holiday wrapping bin, so I actually have throughout the course of the entire year, I have behind my office door, I have from the Container Store, I have that beautifully organized with all of my papers, my tissue paper, my bags, my bows, my scissors, my tape, the wrapping paper itself. So that's nicely organized throughout the year. But of course, for the holidays, it's a little bit different, right? So I actually do have a gift wrapping bag that I place for another set of scissors, tape, ribbon, tags, tissue paper as well, and of course, all of that holiday wrapping paper. So there will be no more digging through any drawers throughout any type of or time frame in end of November and December. Do you think I was there before? Yes, but now we have solved that problem, right? No more. No more going and having those last minute aha moments of, wait a second, I don't have tape. What happened to my tape? Why can't I finish wrapping these gifts? Why do I have this? Oh, no, 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 no. So, yes, did I have these aha moments later in life and in past lives? Yes, I have. And this is why this will not happen again. So, my wrapping is literally already prepped from last year. This year, I refreshen it up. I go through everything, making sure that I like anything, making sure I did not overlook anything from last year before I put it away, because that's what we want to do. Because now I actually kind of know that my wrapping station is pretty much prepped and it's ready. And that is why tweaking matters. It's basically not overhauling the whole house, right? But you just have to ask yourself, what do I need to touch every day in November and December? You're thinking like, what? What does that mean? Because, every minute spent organizing is an hour earned by Benjamin Franklin. So just think about that. And I organized those things. The result is fewer late night Target runs, more time with family at dinner time, and more time for my morning sunrise walks and wake up calls. So I'm trying to make myself and my life a little bit easier. So from last year to this year, right? So what is that first step? Always. We want to declutter. We want to go through it, right? We want to simplify. Then we want to kind of tweak what we've already set aside, set in place, set in motion, right? And then we want to reset it because this is about preparing the now so you're not reacting later. So, I wasn't sure about reinventing the wheel every year. I don't know about you, but it's about being on top of these three reset steps. So, menu and shopping list by mid November. That way you shop before that mad rush. You've been there. I've been there, especially during that Thanksgiving going through those aisles and you're just like, wait, what happened here? What did I forget? So yes, get those serving dishes already out. If you wanted to, you can actually like write little notes of where everything is going to be, how you're going to use it, what dishes you're going to use, the serving spoons, everything like that. So it sounds small, but on the day of, it makes your cooking and your serving flow so much smoother. And when Thanksgiving arrives, you don't and you won't be stressed. And so then you want to present the table, make it look pretty, get it decorated. I don't know about you, but I love table setting. So I actually do that the night before. So that would be my Thanksgiving Eve. I actually do my Thanksgiving table and I just love it because every year I do something different. So now let's see how this fits into the fresh start method, right? We simplify. That's what we do. We declutter the fridge, we do the pantry, we do the entryway, we go through that guest room, right? We tweak. We set up small systems for everyday flow. And the best is when we last reset, we prepare in advance with a checklist. It's not bad to have a checklist. You need those reminders, and it's great to write them down and mark it off. I love that, and it feels really good because not only does this save me time, it actually saves me energy and lets me actually enjoy the season. And what about you? I'm now going to ask you every holiday season, is it its own adventure? I would think so. But this year, I'm making it, well, one where you feel prepared, calm, and actually able to enjoy it. So don't forget, I actually am giving you a Thanksgiving prep checklist. It's going to be available on your show notes. So go download it. It's free and it's the same one I use and I keep myself on track. So if you feel that this episode has been helpful, share it with a friend who's feeling a little bit of holiday stress. And I would love to hear from you. So share with me your before and afters because I love to cheer you on, my friends, and share your win. Until next week.